Good evening. My name is Dr. Kim Dempsey, and I am the director of the PA program here at EVMS. Welcome to the awards and white coat ceremony for the PA class of 2021. Before we begin, I'd like to say how glad I am to know that so many family members are logged on to help us celebrate. Now to our graduates. Congratulations to the PA class of 2021. I know how hard you have all worked to get here, and I am proud to celebrate this awesome accomplishment with each of you today and tomorrow. I know that this is not how any of you or any of us hoped we would be celebrating your graduation, but please know that just because this is different, it does not diminish this accomplishment. Just the opposite. Your resilience as a professional has enabled you to achieve your goal despite this bump in the road. I am grateful that the faculty and staff had the opportunity to celebrate with you yesterday. I remember telling you at the incoming white coat ceremony that I knew how hard you worked to get here. Well, I can say now that I know how hard you have all worked to get to this point. You should be proud of your accomplishments. While these celebrations represent the end of the PA program for you, it also represents the beginning of an amazing new career. You are joining more than 140,000 PAs nationally. According to the U.S. News and World Report, the physician assistant profession is the best job in the United States in the healthcare sector, STEM, and overall. Additionally, the PA profession is expected to grow much faster than average in the next 8 years, according to U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. All of this despite a pandemic. Your graduation will also represent the culmination of the hard work and support provided by many of your friends and family. Many of you watching have supported our graduates financially, emotionally, or by taking on additional family duties. Now you will be able to enjoy having your graduate around again. I am confident that each of you has been well trained and that you have been and will continue to be outstanding ambassadors for the PA program and for EVMS. As an alumnus, we want you to stay involved in the school and in our program. Consider lecturing, participating in interviews, or precepting a student. You can also stay connected by taking an active role in the EVMS alumni organization. I am proud to welcome you all as colleagues, and I look forward to hearing about the great things you are doing in the future. Now, I am happy to introduce Dr. Richard V. Homan, President and Provost of EVMS and Dean of the School of Medicine.
Hello, I'm Dr. Richard Homan, President, Provost, and Dean at Eastern Virginia Medical School, and I want to welcome you today to the PA White Coat Ceremony and graduation ceremony. I wish we could do this in person to see all your faces and the families celebrating this enormous accomplishment of all of our graduates. But as you know, the pandemic has created enormous challenges. So the virtual ceremony that we have will have to do for now. I want to say, though, that the PA graduates have done enormous work over the course of their last 27-month curriculum. The challenges that you've surmounted in terms of accommodating your educational program, looking at ways to be able to use simulation, identifying ways to have small groups to be able to provide more educational opportunities for you as we allowed you eventually to get your clinical experiences. You've been perseverant, you've been challenged, and you've surmounted all the challenges that have been presented. And I can assure you that through your curriculum here, that'll serve you well in your future careers. The PAs nationally are in huge demand, and you all will be having an enormously impactful career to improve the health of the communities you serve. The pandemic has shown that we are decentralizing certainly workplace, workflows, using virtual opportunities. That is translating into healthcare as well. It used to be that hospitals and physicians were the central part of healthcare delivery. That no longer exists. And the acceleration of the trend toward having more health professionals and PAs serving as the focal point for primary care and other specialty care is becoming even more important. So I ask you all to continue in your careers going forward to be able to be the best clinicians you can be. And then through that process, doors will open for you for administrative and leadership positions. Take a risk. Open those doors. We need your leadership. We need your innovation. And you need to be at the table to improve the health of our communities and the nation. We are so proud of you, and we expect you to do extraordinarily well on the PA certification examination. The PA program here has provided extraordinary educational experiences for you, and you're well prepared for that. I do want to say that you should thank your families for getting here, but also take a moment to thank the extraordinary faculty who were able to bring you along the way and mentor you. They are incredibly dedicated and focused on you as individuals. Remember them. And then in your future practice, give back. Train the next generation of PAs as well. And we want to welcome you back in the coming years as alumni of Eastern Virginia Medical School. So on behalf of all of our faculty and staff and the future patients you'll serve, I want to congratulate all of you on an incredible work. Wear your white coats with pride, maintain humility, and continue focused on your patients. Thank you. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Dr. Donald Combs, Vice President and Dean of the School of Health Professions, for his comments. Congratulations.
Well, I want to add my welcome to those of Dr. Homans to the graduating physician assistant class of 2021. You all have had quite an adventure, and I want to express my gratitude for your working with us as we all had to deal with the COVID pandemic and make adjustments on the fly that affected your clinical rotations as well as your didactics. I know our faculty and staff worked very hard to design and implement an effective program, and your presence here today is proof of it, and so I simply want to welcome you to this ceremony and make a few additional comments. In the few moments that we have before us, I want to make just a couple of observations that I hope you'll find helpful. This ceremony, white coat ceremony, marks an important transition from that of a student to a practicing professional. And I think it's very important in the era of COVID to think about what we may have learned from this whole experience. And I think we've learned an awful lot. But one of the things that we have learned is that when someone says this is a novel experience, that means it's new. That means we don't know much about it. It means that we have to spend a lot of time trying to gather evidence and make a compelling case. And when new evidence becomes available, if we have to change our prior guidance, we do that. When we started with the COVID experience almost 18 months ago, we really didn't know exactly how it was going to play out. We knew it was going to be bad. We had no idea that 30 to 40% of the people with the infection would be asymptomatic and thus spreading the disease unknowingly. We had no idea that the variety of symptoms, from respiratory difficulties to loss of taste and loss of smell and discoloration of toes, would be so variable. We had no idea it would last this long. We had no idea that it would, in fact, run into the political quagmire of the ongoing and permanent debate between individual freedom and collective security. And we've argued that increasingly over the last year. My point being that we learned a lot in this experience, and I think one of the most important things that we learned is that we have to keep learning all the time. We have to let the evidence guide us. We have to do the very best we can. And if we make a wrong decision, we have to acknowledge that and move on. The other general point that I want to make is that each of you has demonstrated exceptional competence as a student and will no doubt do that as a practicing professional. However, I think it's also important to realize that it doesn't really matter how smart you are as an individual. You simply cannot know everything that you need to know to do the best for your patients. It also doesn't matter how skillful you are. As an individual, you do not have the skill set to do everything that is necessary to provide the best care to your patients by yourself. So the implications of those two statements are that you need to consciously surround yourself with a network of professionals who think differently than you do, who look at different types of evidence than you do, who bring different skill sets to the problem, because it takes the collective effort to make a real and lasting impact on patients in the most positive way. So my almost parting advice to you is that you spend a lot of time thinking about and developing relationships with other professionals, and don't develop relationships only with people who think like you think. That doesn't broaden your field of vision. The value of a network is in its breadth and in its diversity. So, in conclusion, the most important thing, among lots of important things, is that you realize you really don't do everything all by yourself. You have helpers, and helpers are very willing to help. In fact, the literature shows that people are more willing to help than people are willing to ask for help. But having said that, it is very important that you say thank you. And that you remember, as my mother always told me, if the last thing that they remember about you is that you said thank you, that's not a bad thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Homan and Dr. Combs. Now I would like to recognize the class officers who have worked diligently in leading their class since January 2019. The 2021 class officers: President and SGA Vice President of Administration, Megan Stuffelbeam; Vice President and SGA Vice President of Health Professions, Margaret Sarcone; Secretary, Alyssa Malone; Treasurer, Taylor Rickenbaker. Thank you all for your efforts. I would also like to recognize 5 of our graduates who will be entering the United States Navy upon graduation. Those graduates entering the Navy are Markel Adams, Yolanda Johnson, Matthew Sierra, Katie Warren, and Hannah Whitesell. Thank you for your service and congratulations. Now, Ms. Angela Conrad, Associate Professor and Clinical Director of the PA program, will present this year's graduation awards.
Good evening. I am honored to share this event with you and will be excited to see you as you don your long white coats. Created in 2004, Pi Alpha is a National Honor Society organized for the promotion and recognition of both PA students, graduates, and faculty. In addition, it also honors non-PAs who have a significant bearing on the academic development and delivery of our program. Student membership in Pi Alpha is an honor bestowed upon a graduating student in recognition of scholarship, service, and leadership. Inductees must have a minimum GPA of 3.5 and maintain exemplary performance in the clinical year. These students also demonstrate excellence in research, publishing, community service, or leadership activities. Finally, and most fundamental, they must demonstrate a high standard of character and conduct. Although there are many in this class we could induct, each chapter is limited to nominating 15% of the graduating class. The faculty of the EVMS PA program are proud to induct the following graduates into the Pi Alpha National Honor Society: Rachel Call, Ann Talbot Downey, Michaela Sue Haddix, Lauren Lennertz, Emily Mackey, Helena Pett, Frederick Purnell, Taylor Rickenbaker, Matthew Sierra, Megan Stuffelbeam, Taryn Weideman, Joshua Winters. Each year, the PA faculty also have the opportunity to identify a member of the EVMS academic community to become an honorary member of the Pi Alpha Physician Assistant National Honor Society. We select a non-PA who has had enduring impact on the program or who has had exemplary commitment and service to our profession to become an honorary PA. This year, the faculty have selected an individual who's been working collaboratively with our program for many years. This individual has supported our program and students in working to help coordinate delivery of instrumental speakers for one of our fundamental courses, Introduction to Clinical Medicine. She's also been very supportive and advocates for our students in setting up clinical rotations. She's always very responsive and pleasant to work with, trying her best to advocate for our students. I'm pleased to recognize and congratulate this year's honorary Pi Alpha inductee, Miss Madeline Dunstan. I will now introduce the David E. Scott Award. This honor is awarded in memory of Dr. David E. Scott, a member of the EVMS Pathology and Anatomy Department. He provided pathophysiology instruction to our PA students from the beginning of the PA program in 1999 until his death in 2010. I am proud and honored to have benefited from his instruction when I was a first-year PA student here in 2003. As a non-physician assistant, Dr. Scott showed incredible support for the PA profession. As such, this award is presented each year to a non-PA member of the school staff who has had an enduring impact on the growth, maturation, and ongoing excellence of the PA program. This year's recipient is a person who has continually shown support and assistance to the PA program. Through the significant changes in our curriculum delivery through the pandemic, his support was invaluable as we transitioned to remote education. He was able to help us transition seamlessly and within a span of a weekend. He's always very calm and supportive. He has a way of alleviating the stress we all experience when learning new technology and always provides solutions. He takes the time to listen and is creative, curious, and willing to assist with crafting new ideas. Working with him always is the creation of projects that are even better than originally designed. I'm proud to announce that this year's recipient is Mr. Kyle Zeltman. I will now present the Paragon Award. Each year, the faculty selects one student to receive the Paragon Award, which recognizes a student who excels during the clinical portion of their training. This year, the Paragon Award goes to a student who has made a significant impact on faculty and preceptors. Her preceptors have described her as a professional, extremely dedicated, and an exceptional student. She is noted to take full advantage of all educational opportunities. She takes ownership of her own learning. She provided professional and constructive feedback and advocated for her learning, which resulted in her ability to be able to improve her experiences. This student showed consistent interest in learning and a drive to work hard. She accepted constructive criticism, which ultimately improved her skills and knowledge. Several of her preceptors said she'd be a great addition to any practice. She is an example to all of us that being a caregiver extends far beyond clinic and hospital walls. It is with great pleasure and pride on behalf of the PA faculty that I present the 2021 EVMS Program Paragon Award to Miss Lauren Leonards. Now I will present the Eugene Stead Award. This award is named in honor of the founder of the PA profession, Dr. Eugene Stead Jr. He started the first program at Duke University in 1965. It is awarded annually to the student in the graduating class who exemplifies the profession's ideals of courage, humility, and wisdom when applying technical skills, scientific knowledge, and human understanding of the care of their patients. This year's Stead Award recipient has impressed both didactic and clinical faculty. She exemplifies the profession's ideals as a student and leader of her class. She has shown courage to speak out and do what is right, humility, working collaboratively with others, and wisdom in trusting the advice of faculty. She has been continually introspective in self-improvement, which is key in shaping an exceptional PA. She focuses on the well-being of those around her and is a strong advocate for her classmates. She always maintains a professional demeanor, and her actions show her integrity. This has been evident in her interactions with the faculty as well as her clinical preceptors. As I reviewed comments from her preceptors, the common thread was her exceptional communication skills, empathy for her patients, and an eagerness to learn. Several of her preceptors also commented on her as a future provider and expressed their desire to have her work with them upon graduation. And finally, the highest compliment a student can receive came from one of her faculty members. I'd be happy to have her as a provider for me and my family. It is with great privilege and pride on behalf of the PA program faculty to present this year's Eugene Stead Award to Miss Megan Stuffelbeam. Please welcome Megan Stuffelbeam, President of the PA Class of 2021, for the presentation of the Preceptor of the Year Award.
Each spring, a fresh crop of PA students hops out of the nest, leaving behind 16 months of didactic training, along with their faculty and the standardized patients who help to shape their foundation as future healthcare providers. This transition signals the start of the clinical year. During this time, students begin to apply their learned skill sets out in the real world under the guidance and tutelage of community healthcare providers, also known as their preceptors. Over the course of the year, students rotate through 9 different clinical settings. With any new experience, the beginning is always the hardest. Each month offers the exciting opportunity for another first day. As many of my classmates will tell you, preceptors who take you under their wing significantly influence your experience. Precepting is truly an act of giving and grace. It requires great patience, selflessness, and dedication to molding the next generation of providers. Truly gifted preceptors will encourage their students to step outside of their comfort zone, to have more questions than answers, and will model patient-provider relationships built on respect, empathy, and trust. This year's Preceptor of the Year award goes to a provider who has continually cultivated a supportive learning environment through his brilliance, his kindness, his patience, and his whiteboard masterpieces. Dr. Scott Reed, thank you for your dedication to our education.
Now I am pleased to introduce Assistant Professor and Academic Director, Ms. Angela Cerezo.
To begin the white coat portion of our ceremony, I would like to comment on the significance of the coat itself. The white coat reminds clinicians of their professional duties as prescribed by Hippocrates to lead their lives and practice their art in uprightness and honor. The white coat is a symbol of our profession. 28 months ago, you began this journey with a white coat ceremony. During that ceremony, we discussed the meanings of the short and long white coat in medicine. You accepted your short white coat with anticipation, eagerness, and a desire to learn all aspects of healthcare. The white coat led you to stand a little taller, and your excitement as well as sense of responsibility was evident. Your short coat served as a reminder to all that you were a student, allowing many teaching opportunities and offers for additional learning. Never forget faculty, patients, and practitioners who shared their stories with you and taught you how to provide effective, patient-centered medical care. Through them, you have grown into your coat as you transitioned from a student into a clinician. The time has now come for you to wear a long white coat. It represents the attainment of the qualities and knowledge necessary to perform as a physician assistant. It represents the privilege and responsibility of caring for the health and well-being of others, and the connection of your career to the noble healers and leaders before you. It stands for a collaboration between you, your colleagues, your patients, other providers, and the global health system. Each member of the graduating class has been gifted a long white lab coat by the Virginia Academy of Physician Assistants as a generous gesture uniting you with the practicing PAs in our state. Please join me in recognizing the Virginia Academy of Physician Assistants for their generosity. Class of 2021, as you don your new long white coat, I encourage you to reflect on why you have chosen this path and what you hope to accomplish while wearing it. Although you will no longer wear that wrinkled and stained short coat, do not discard the lessons learned while you wore it. Keep the eagerness to learn, the curiosity, and the excitement every day. Allow your patients to continue being your teachers. Learn from everyone you meet. Your success as a clinician will depend on your ability to remain a lifelong learner. Take the long coat seriously. Aside from the science you have learned to get to this point, you will also have to embrace the art of medicine that the white coat also symbolizes. Your patient is not a machine, and you are not simply a mechanic. You must think about the person you are treating in the moment, the frightened soul, the wondering mind, the hopeful spirit, the husband, the wife, the son, the daughter, the grandchild. Because you wear this coat, you will make a profound impact on the lives of patient after patient. You will become more than a medical provider, You will be a healer in a world full of fear and fragmentation. I charge you to always be the person who remembers these feelings and keeps the excitement and recalls the lessons of the short white coat. Wear your long white coat with pride and uphold the virtues of altruism, responsibility, duty, honor, respect, and compassion that it confers. And at the end of your day, when you take off your white coat, know that what it stands for will not leave you. Class of 2021, congratulations. On behalf of EVMS and your fellow PAs, we welcome you to the PA profession with your long white coat. At this time, we will begin the presentation of the white coats. We would like to recognize those graduates who could not be with us today.
Markel Adams, Christine Anastasio, Tara Ardito, Michelle Areola, Juliette Bearstein, Aaron Bryant, Trevor Cable, Rachel Call, Tiffany Cambron, Frank Chili, Chelsea Choi, Lacey Crum, Cecilia Curtis, Catherine Davidson, Samantha Dixon, Julia Dinoff. Ann Talbot Downey. Rachel Ellis. Elizabeth Fabian. Joseph Fung. Megan Gahn. Morgan Gordon. Marina Goja. Michaela Sue Haddix. Stephanie Ho. Jir Ibrahim. Robin Isdell. Brittany Jeffrey. Yolanda Johnson. Melissa Katigbak. Basima Khan. Daniel Kiernan. Amber Kim. Rachel King. Amy Large. John Lazzari. Tao Lee. Lauren Leonards. Bobby Lindsay. Emily Mackey. Tiffany McDaniel. Stephanie McMullen. Alyssa Malone. Ryan Mogadam. Martha Pandages. Karishma Patel. Helena Pett. Andrew Poff. Benjamin Pichette. Christopher Porter. Haley Power. Frederick Purnell. Laura Ramirez. Taylor Rickenbaker. Margaret Sarcone. Karam Sand. Ashley Shawless. Kelsey Shimizu. Matthew Sierra. Zachary Smith. Emily Steggy. Megan Stufflebeam. Haley Sumner. Courtney Taylor. Vanessa Tran. Ian Udson. Alexandra Vi. Leslie Waller. Katie Warren. Taryn Weideman. Adam White. Hannah Weitzel. Joshua Winters.
As we conclude this white coat ceremony, I want to let each of you know that it has been an honor to get to know, guide, encourage, and help educate each one of you. It is an honor for me to consider you colleagues, and I look forward to seeing and hearing about your accomplishments as a PA. Thank you for letting us be part of your journey. This concludes our white coat ceremony for the class of 2021. Thank you for joining us. I invite you to stay a while and enjoy the slideshow created by the class of 2021 to memorialize their time at EVMS.
city near Piccadilly. Don't really know how I got here. I got some pictures on my phone, new names and numbers that I don't know. Address to places like Abbey Road. Day turns to night, night turns to whatever we want. We're young enough to say, oh, this has gotta be a good life. This has gotta be a good life. This could really be a good life, good life. I say, oh, this feeling that you can't fight. The city is on fire tonight. This could really be a good life, a good, good life. To my friends in New York, I say hello. My friends in LA, they don't know where I've been for the past few years or so. Paris to China to Colorado. Sometimes there's airplanes I can't jump out. Sometimes there's boats that don't work now. We got our stories, but please tell me what there's to complain about. When you're happy like a fool, you let it take you over. When everything is out, you gotta take it in. Oh, this has gotta be a good life. This has gotta be a good life. This could really be a good life, good life. I say, oh, this feeling that you can't fight. The city is on fire tonight. This could really be a good life, a good, good life. Oh, a good, good life. Hopelessly, I feel like there might be something that I'll miss. Hopelessly, I feel like the window closes so quick. Hopelessly, I'm taking a mental picture of you now. 'Cause hopelessly, the hopeless we have so much to feel good about. Oh, this has gotta be a good life. This has gotta be a good life. This could really be a good life, good life. I say, oh, this feeling that you can't fight. The city is on fire tonight. This could really be a good life, a good, good life. Oh, yeah. A good, good life, good life. Listen to my friends in New York, I say hello. My friends in LA, they don't know where I've been for the past few years or so. Paris to China to Colorado. Sometimes there's airplanes I can't jump out. Sometimes there's boats that don't work now. We got our stories, but please tell me what there's to complain about.
I turned on the evening news, saw an old man being interviewed, turning 102 today. They asked him what's the secret to life. He looked up from his old pipe, laughed and said, all I can say is, don't blink. Just like that, you're 6 years old and you take a nap and you wake up and you're 25. Then your high school sweetheart becomes your wife. Don't blink, you just might miss your babies growing like mine did, turning into moms and dads. Next thing you know, you better have a 50 years as they're in bed, and you praying God takes you instead. Trust me, friend, 100 years goes faster than you think. So don't blink. Well, I was glued to my TV when it looked like you looked at me and said, best start putting first things first. 'Cause when your hourglass runs out of sand, you can't flip it over and start again. Take every breath God gives you for what it's worth. Don't blink, 'cause just like that, you're 6 years old and you take a nap and you wake up and you're 25, then your high school sweetheart becomes your wife. Don't blink, you just might miss your babies growing like mine did, turning into moms and dads. Next thing you know, your better half of 50 years is there in bed, and you're praying God takes you instead. Trust me, friend, 100 years goes faster than you think. So don't blink. So I've been trying to slow it down. I've been trying to take it easy. In this here today, gone tomorrow world we're living in. Don't blink, just like that, you're 6 years old and you take a nap and you wake up and you're 25, then your high school sweetheart becomes your wife. Don't blink, you just might miss your babies growing like mine did, turning into moms and dads. Next thing you know, your better half of 50 years is there in bed, and you're praying God takes you instead. Trust me, friend, 100 years goes faster than you think. So don't blink. No, don't blink. Don't blink. Life goes faster than you think. So don't blink. Life goes faster than you think. Don't blink. Don't blink. Life goes faster than you think.
God bless and keep you always. May your wishes all come true. May you always do for others and let others do for you. And may you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung. And may you stay forever young. May you stay forever young. May you grow up to be righteous. May you grow up to be true. May you always know the truth and see the light surrounding you. May you always be courageous, stand upright and be strong. And may you stay forever young. And may you stay forever young. May your hands always be busy. May your feet always be swift. May you have a strong foundation when the winds of changes shift. May your heart always be joyful. May your song always be sung.